In the early morning of May 25, 1997, 7-year-old Sherrice Iverson was seen on surveillance camera playing hide-and-seek inside a casino's arcade with a man who would later beat and strangle her to death. Sherrice Iverson, a lively, bubbly 7-year-old, lived in Los Angeles with her father, Leroy Iverson, a retired tour bus driver battling various health ailments. Sherrice's mother, Yolanda Manuel, wasn't around much. After a fight with Leroy, she had moved in with her sister. Yolanda had been in a relationship with Leroy since she was a teenager. Sherrice was visiting the Prima Donna Casino Resort, now called the Prim Valley Resort in Nevada, with her father, Leroy Iverson, and her 14-year-old brother, Harold. Her father was drinking and gambling in the casino. Unwilling to watch his daughter, he left her in the care of her brother, Harold. Casino security returned Sherrice to her father several times as they found her running around unsupervised. At approximately 4 a.m., Jeremy Strohmeyer, then aged 18, began to play with Sherrice on the casino floor. Jeremy was visiting the casino with his friend, 17-year-old David Cash, and David's father. Jeremy played hide-and-seek with Sherrice in the casino before telling her that a good place to hide would be in the ladies' restroom. While in the restroom, the two began throwing wet paper wads at one another. At this time, David Cash entered the restroom and witnessed Strohmeyer forcibly taking Sherrice into a stall.
And Sherrice Iverson were throwing paper towels at each other. They were just playing, seemed just horsing around. And it came to a point where Jeremy grabbed her and took her into a stall, to one of the bathroom stalls. I went into the adjacent stall, looked over, and Jeremy was restraining her with his left hand over her stomach and his right hand over her mouth.
And she was trying to scream?
He was muffling her screams. I tapped him on the head, because it was completely out of character, and he didn't really respond to me. He gave me kind of a blank stare. So, in my opinion, it was like time for me to get out of there.
Why?
Well, when an 18-year-old male grabs a 7-year-old child, that's not a position I want to be in. Based on what I saw, it wasn't something I wanted to stick around and see what would materialize.
Did you say to him, Jeremy, come on, stop, let's go?
I was giving him a look as if, that he shouldn't be doing that.
But you never said, stop, get out of here, this is wrong.
Verbally, I did not say that, but my body language certainly suggested it.
2 minutes after Cash entered the bathroom, he's seen walking out. Jeremy was seen leaving about 22 minutes later. But Sherrice Iverson never left. Her body was discovered. She had been sexually assaulted and her neck broken.
What did he say to you when he came out?
He immediately confessed.
Confessed?
Yes.
What did he say?
He looked at me and said, I killed her.
Just like that?
Just like that.
After Jeremy confessed to Cash, they went to other casinos where they played slot machines and rode roller coasters for several hours before heading home back to California.
Think to turn him in to the police?
The thought crossed my mind, but I didn't act on it.
Why?
I know that his day of reckoning is coming. I didn't want to be the one that turned him in.
You felt that was more important than to report a murderer?
Even though he had told me that he had committed murder, it was really hard for me to fathom Jeremy as a quote-unquote murderer.
But he told you he was.
I understand that, but he's also my best friend. We're taking AP English together.
After Jeremy and Cash returned home, friends who had seen the surveillance video on the local news tipped off police. On September 8, 1998, Strohmeyer pleaded guilty to 4 charges: first-degree murder, first-degree kidnapping, sexual assault on a minor with substantial bodily harm, and sexual assault on a minor. On October 14, 1998, he was sentenced to 4 life terms, one for each crime he pleaded guilty to be served consecutively without possibility of parole. Sherrice's father, Leroy Iverson, was not charged, even though there is a case to be made on how he neglected his 7-year-old daughter. David Cash, who watched Strohmeyer physically assault a little girl minutes before she was murdered, has not been charged with any crime. Watching and failing to report a crime, unfortunately, isn't a crime in Nevada, was the reason given from the prosecution for not bringing charges against Cash.
Seen Jeremy Strohmeyer put his hands over her mouth and carried her in the bathroom. He's seen it. Anytime you stand and you look at something, happening to anybody, not only a child, any human being, a dog, a cat, or whatever. You seen that happen. So you a murder within yourself. You still got the blood of my babies on your hand.
David Cash was asked to explain his behavior to a group of students assembled on Berkeley campus he was currently attending.
A lot of people say, how come you didn't stop the murder? How come you stopped the rape? I never felt anything was going to happen to her. If I thought that, that was going to happen, of course I would have stopped it. I don't want this on my conscience that, I allowed, somebody to die.
Is it on your conscience?
Not to the extent that
yes
most people.
or no? Is it on your
not
conscience?
To the extent that most people would want it to be.
Yes or no?
Not to the extent that most people would want it to be.
Okay.
I really have a hard time believing that you thought that nothing wrong was going on.
Doesn't it alarm you that for 25 minutes he's still in the bathroom with a 7-year-old girl? I mean, that's just not a normal occurrence, and wouldn't you want to go back in there?
Okay, let's think of it. Let's say after 25 minutes I come to the conclusion that he's murdered this girl, all right? Do I storm into the bathroom, and then what happens to me? Okay, let's say a security guard walks in. I'm sitting here, with my best friend with the dead body there. You know what I mean?
I think it's very clear to all of us that David Cash's mindset was, what is best for me? What is going to keep me out of trouble? You have expressed no remorse, no feeling that you felt bad at all that this young girl was murdered.
How is it that you can sit there and feel comfortable with yourself, waiting 3 days when you could have assisted the police in pursuing Jeremy? You could have done any number of things, but you did nothing.
It's easy for you people to say, oh, you should have done this, you should have done that. Like, you didn't know Jeremy. But at the time, I made the best possible decision.
You still stood by and let a little girl be raped and killed, and I don't think we should stand by and let you get away with that.
You just said I stood by and let a little girl get raped and killed.
Yeah.
That is wrong. I did not see that. I did not witness that. I did not know that was happening.
Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this case. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Until next time, peace and blessings.